What it is, good people, I'm assuming you guys are hearing us right now. We're going to wait and get some confirmation here. Somebody please let us know that y'all can hear us. We had some technical difficulties, which is the reason why we're running behind. I see Luke in there.
Yeah.
Luke, can you confirm that you're able to hear myself and Smitty?
Yeah,
I hear you.
Me too.
Great.
All
right, guys, welcome to the latest edition of the Sim Standard Podcast with myself, SimFBallCritic, along with Smitty, and I believe Smitty Jr. as well is participating here tonight. Glad he's been home for a while, but I still want to say glad he's home due to circumstances. So always great to hear that news. But anyway, guys, we got something new brewing tonight as far as how you guys are hearing us. For whatever reason, Skype is acting like a you-know-what. Smitty couldn't hear me. I could hear him, but he couldn't hear me. The audio, we could see that it was working in Skype. So Smitty came up with the bright idea. He said, hey, why don't we just use Google Hangouts? And then I'm thinking, oh, but I got to reconfigure the whole thing and broadcast it. Then I was like, no, wait a minute. We can just use Google Hangout for the audio. And the audio is captured through OBS. So voila, you guys are still able to see the picture there. I wanted to try to come back to you guys tonight with video, but obviously it's not working. I'll have to figure something out. I think it's probably something with Skype, and even with that, Smitty, even when Skype was working earlier with me, I still couldn't get it to show in OBS. It's giving me the black screen in OBS again, and it did that to me before. I don't know what that is. So whatever. You guys can just listen to us. Y'all are used to that. That's how it's been the last few weeks anyway. So it is what it is. Well, all right, man. Let's go ahead and get it cracking, man. Welcome, guys. We appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm not sure how long we'll be on tonight. I know we're getting started later, but hey, you know, we still can't push too far past the 10 o'clock mark. Outside of that, we want to give you guys an update as far as what we're going to talk about tonight. Got a few topics to go over. Definitely want to talk about the NFL, man. Is the NFL keeping Madden from progressing and building? And I'm going to, throw the name out here when I pull up Twitter. This is a community topic. We always love when we get those. So the question is, do we think the NFL, and he wants to know, let me get you his name really quick. Good homie Kenny Mac at Kenny_Mac78 on Twitter sent us that topic, and I'll read to you exactly what he said. I just paraphrased it, but he says, I hope you guys will consider this topic for one of your upcoming shows, and I told him it would be tonight. He says maybe the NFL is as much a fault as administration at EA Tiburon for impeding the progress of Madden and NFL because of what they censor out of the game. So me and Smitty will definitely tackle that topic, give you our thoughts in regards to that. What we also will be talking about, good people. Another topic here is we want to talk a little bit about, where is it? Here we go. The MLB The Show 19, man. I want to talk about this March to October mode, Smitty. I want to give my thoughts on, just in general, so you guys can prepare for where we're going to go with it. It's just funny to see how these guys and, in other sports games continue to add to their franchise mode while Madden is not. Now, I will preface it with this, and I'll dive into it when we get there. Yes, MLB, I'm pissed off at them for not having their online franchise 2 years in a row, but we'll dive into that when we get into it. And then last but not least, well, maybe, Smitty, we could start with this. I know somebody asked if we could talk about Laker struggles this season. I guess we could kick it off with that because, that little bit of talk shouldn't take us that long. We don't really have any real introductions to talk about tonight in terms of our football teams and things of that nature. So we might as well dive right into that. So I will ask you, Smitty, let's go ahead and dive into that. How do you feel about the Lakers?
Well, I mean, basically, when I think about Lakers and what they basically did this year, at this point, I mean, for a lot, I didn't have the expectation unlike a lot of, well, I was just say like media wise and all that stuff, all the big time build up, like these guys are going to the Western Conference Finals, or some people were under the ideal belief that these guys were going to potentially come out the West, or at least go to the Western Conference Finals and give Golden State a run. And I'm like, nah. They weren't doing that all because they got LeBron James over there. LeBron helps you a lot. LeBron will get you wins. You know, he'll definitely get you some wins. But at the same time, he's not going to get it all done. And see, the biggest knock on LeBron James look, LeBron is a player. Okay? He's a player. He's a leader. He's a leader statistically. He is not a team leader. And what I mean by that is that he doesn't make a team, he makes a team better by what he can bring to the team statistically. He doesn't help the locker room. He doesn't help with team morale. He doesn't build anything. He just comes in, does his job, and bounces. Think about it. He was over there at Cleveland. He could have literally cultivated the culture over there. And he didn't. He didn't tough it out and try to win a chip. You know, he dipped because the situation wasn't the way he wanted. And then, you know, he changed the way these teams usually click up now. All this clicking up is, you know, in part due to what LeBron, Wade, and Bosh did. So he's carrying that mentality his entire career. I mean, look at what he essentially was ready to do before the trade deadline. He was ready to ship he wanted to ship the entire team. I mean, the whole team. He just wanted to ship. He wanted to ship Lonzo, Kuzma. He wanted to ship all them boys out for Anthony Davis. Like, and that's what I'm saying. When you do that, you killed the morale of your team. You did that. Young guys that are on the up and up as far as building, you know what I'm saying? As far as them getting better, like they genuinely miss Lonzo Ball's presence. Now, would Lonzo be? If they had Lonzo there? Do I believe that they wouldn't be in the predicament they're in right now? Yeah, I do. But at the same time, if LeBron didn't miss all those games, he wouldn't be in this predicament either. But I just find it like it's hilarious when LeBron says, all right, time for playoff mode. And then this happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, playoff mode time, and then these dudes get dropped off. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the whole thing. Like, these guys literally have to win out just to remotely have a slim chance of potentially making the playoffs. They can't lose any more games. I think at this point they can't lose any more games, or it's completely, or they'll mathematically be eliminated. So I don't know if that's what the ruling is or if that's what it actually is at this point. But I'm just saying they're not in a good spot. And no, I think they're done. Matter of fact, they're done because they said that recently. It said Coach Luke Walton's going to limit LeBron's minutes, and then on back-to-backs, he may not play, like, or whatever, or something like that. Man, they're done. They're done. They're finished. So when you making statements like that, yeah, your team's done, man. They're basically shelving LeBron at this point. So they're finished. And that's the thing. You know, like I said, LeBron, great player, and yes, he passed up Jordan for the point total and all that stuff, whatever. He's not, listen, he is not, the whole Jordan conversation's dead. It's over. It's like keep on looking for stuff to keep giving him chances to keep trying to have these GOAT conversations. But I mean, that's all media hype kind of deal. LeBron ain't no GOAT. You ain't no GOAT when you be slacking as much as he slacks off. And listen, the slacking that LeBron does, this is not new. He been doing this. See what I'm saying? He been doing it. This was not glorified until, oh, wait a minute, LeBron's older now, so now, or excuse me, or the since the Lakers are losing and they're not really a playoff team, let's media-wise, let's destroy them. Let's build this, this bad pile of footage showing him slack and all that. But I mean, that's how he played. And yeah, I mean, like you said with Kuzma had to push him to play defense. He literally had to push him. I mean, defensive dude. And I understand some people made the point about the defensive rotation was bad and Kuzma didn't call out the rotation. So LeBron just stood there as they collided. But the thing is, what's his name? Kuzma got screened and he fought through the screen. But as soon as he fought through the screen, LeBron was standing right there. So he couldn't get out to the shooter because LeBron was standing right there after he fought through the screen. So LeBron was literally screening him out. So at that point, he straight just shoved him out there to, like, contest. But doing something like that, he could have possibly hurt. He could have got LeBron hurt. That's very possible. But the thing is that team is in disarray, man. That team's not in a good spot. And I mean, look, you got Rondo up here pulling up threes and doing stuff that he doesn't normally do. These dudes are on 1-year deals. McGee, I think he's on a 1-year deal. Beasley was 1 year. All these other guys, 1-year deals, right? They're still on their rookie contracts. Ingram, Lonzo, Kuzma, all that. So, I mean, real talk, they just need to go ahead and regroup. And as far as the whole Anthony Davis situation or other players going there, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know if other players are going to want to join up with that because they're seeing what the situation is. I don't know if people really are going to want to mess with that situation. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of stuff to think about, like, why couldn't they get Paul George over there? Or just like when KD made his comments, like they brought up on, sports shows and such. KD made comments about playing with LeBron, like, it's a toxic kind of situation playing with LeBron. Like, you really don't want to mix with him in that regard. And it's honestly standing out. Look at how the team is at this point. You know what I'm saying? And then you steadily sitting up here talking about your team. Man, if they ain't ready, if they can't handle this, they can't handle that. You got to question this, that, and the third. It's like whenever these dudes get drilled, and that's something LeBron always does. That's something he did. He did it in Miami. He did it in Cleveland when he went there the second time, and now he's doing it here. He's quick to point the finger at everybody else and be like, all of y'all aren't playing. All of you guys are messing up. But I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Like, nah, man. No, LeBron, you're just as guilty too. And if you guys watched that game last night against the Nuggets, that once again is an indicator. Like, he's not going all out. He's not going all out, playing all hard and everything like that. He's going to do just enough to get by. He's doing just enough. You know what I'm saying? And the way that, like I said, the way that team is rotating, at least from what I'm looking at, the way that team is playing, it's like they done. I mean, look, you had stretches where they were down, and arguably their best players were on the bench. You had LeBron out there with a bunch of bench players, dudes that as far as I know, I mean, I'm not sure, don't really get that much clock. And those guys were out there running with LeBron. Rondo wasn't out there. There was no Rondo, no Kuzma, no Ingram, no KCP, no Reggie Bullock, no JaVale McGee. And I mean, Plumlee was out there doing work. So I don't understand, why wouldn't you have your big out there? Now you can put that on the coaching and look at Luke Walton on that too. That's why people saying he gotta go. But I'm not a diehard Laker fan, but all I'm saying about LeBron in the situation is just that, does this stuff surprise me? Not one bit. Because when he did all that stuff talking about he was going back home and all that, and he put that that article out and talking about, there may be hardship, there may be trials and all that stuff, but we're gonna get it, we're gonna make it happen, we're gonna get it done. I didn't really get that vibe, especially when things don't go the way that he wants it to. He's pointing the fingers at everybody else. It's all y'all fault why we're not winning. It's not we gonna win and lose together. And on top of that, LeBron, like what analysts and stuff have said, LeBron's not going all out. He's not going all out like that. And this is the other part too. And then I'll throw it to Sim. But we gotta remember, these are the last 4 seasons of LeBron playing. Mm-hmm. We really have to hope this man's gonna be able to hold up over all that time. Because understand. See, we're looking at, man, this dude is still playing prime level basketball. Listen, there may, because I feel Kobe would have retired the same way if he didn't have the Achilles tear. He may, as long as he doesn't have any major injury take place, he may go out. I would say his last 2 seasons, he may go out averaging between, I would say, at least 25 a game and 7 assists. He could easily go out like that. You know what I mean? If he's able to really hold himself together. But if you put LeBron with another star player, or maybe 2, I don't know. He may be able to make that run, but that's going to be the closest way. Ooh, God bless you, buddy. That's going to be the closest way for him to potentially have a sniff at that success, that championship success. Because like it was said, I said it too, other people said it. Going on the West, it's a whole different animal. Mm-hmm. A whole different animal. This ain't, see, if he was in the East, he could play like this and still have a chance. Like my Pistons, they literally had a 500 record and they were a 6 seed. And I mean recently here I'm talking about. Their record, they were at 500 and they're 6th. So the Lakers, with the record they have, they would easily be a higher seed in the East. But right now, no, that's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. And this is the other thing, too. These teams all across the board, East and West, are only getting better. They're developing from within. Not everybody has a super team, but they're developing these teams out. So I don't know what, LeBron's got this super team formula. Like he's banking on getting that other star. Okay. And I mean, I know LeBron likes to pass and get his teammates involved and all that. And see, in that sense, he's a leader in that aspect. But he's not taking over the game, and he's not really taking the bull by the horns and leading the charge with his teammates. And it shows. It truly shows. The whole vibe of that team is completely different. It's not, they're on a different level, man. And I'm not saying that necessarily in a good way. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not making the playoffs more than likely. You're taking off all these possessions, and You wanted, plus you wanted to trade away all of your future for a piece that, depending upon how the team is able to build, you may not even be there to win a chip. And then whoever it is that's left behind, guess what? They're just left behind. And now they're stuck in the hopes of going through the whole rebuilding phase and everything again. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see, but that's not a good look. So, I'll throw it to you, man.
Yeah, none of it to me, man, is surprising. I mean, just like what Smitty just said, and that's why I let Smitty go ahead and kick it off, man, because, he probably follows basketball a little closer than I do, even though I watch it and I follow my Sixers, but I don't understand, and it's funny, man, again, I'll correlate this to what I always tell people, man, when I do like my little Steelers podcast, and I don't ever want to become like a caricature of myself, like where you're expecting certain things. Oh, he's gonna do the sim, and I say that because I wanna aim this comment at Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith know daggone well. I mean, as much as he covers basketball, he should have known darn gone well that the Lakers was not going to know Western Conference Finals. Are you serious? I mean, I get it. They had a little talent. They got a little talent. If you can get Ingram to play, you got a little talent in that kid. Lonzo, I don't know, man. I don't know as far as Lonzo. I don't think Lonzo is trash, but I just don't think so far he just hasn't. Honestly, I actually think we were starting to see a better Lonzo Ball. He got hurt. You can't do anything about people getting injured. The Lakers have been hit with some injuries, especially now with Kuzma and all of these guys that are hurt. I know that's part of it, but at the end of the day, still, I don't understand how a lot of the talking heads were saying how far they were going to go just because of LeBron James. And LeBron James is great. We all know that. But it's one person, man. It's one guy. He's a little older. Obviously, he should be slowing down now. Just looking at, history of basketball. And even when you talk about the whole thing about him passing Jordan, again, I'm sick and tired of that conversation. I'm tired of the comparison. In my eyes, and listen, it's just my opinion, but if you're just looking at it from a pure sports, like a purist, how could he be better than just on the court? Let's just talk about accomplishments on the court. I don't care who you're going to say that each one of these guys played with, regardless of the fact. Michael Jordan is 6-0 in the finals. Okay? Jordan never went to a Game 7. So you cannot say LeBron James is greater or better than him when there's no proof in terms of accomplishment. Now, if you want to talk about LeBron James being a better athlete as far as bigger, faster, stronger, of course. LeBron is a freak of nature when it comes to that. But I'm sick and tired of the conversation about who's better. Listen, I'll end it with this as far as that part of the conversation. It's one thing that I always said LeBron James didn't have once he was seasoned in the league. I'm not talking about when he first came in. I'm just talking about when he was seasoned, by Miami time. LeBron don't have that killer instinct. He don't have it. He don't have what that I'm going to cut your head off like Jordan had. And to me, the closest person to that was Kobe. And that's why I was a huge Kobe Bryant fan, because Kobe will cut your head off. Kobe will take the game over in a heartbeat. Kobe was the Mamba. He would stomp your heart out. And he was coming right at you. He ain't shying away from the last shot. He not shying away from the moment. That was Michael Jordan, and that is exactly what Kobe Bryant was. LeBron, to me, didn't have that. And I'm just saying, I mean, listen, again, you can have your opinion. Some people aren't old enough, and I'm fortunate enough to have been old enough, even though I was a young kid, I did actually get a chance to see Michael Jordan play in person. So, for us who've seen Jordan, come on, man. And yeah, LeBron wasn't no bust when he was in Miami. He was a problem, as he should have been. And that's the thing. LeBron's supposed to be that guy. At his size and his capability and his athleticism, his power, he's supposed to be that guy. But that's what I got over him. And, that's just my opinion. And see, again, guys, these are just opinions. Because, what's up to Freddie G? I see him saying Tim Duncan is greater than Kobe. But how can you make that comparison? How can you compare Tim Duncan to Kobe Bryant? How? There's no possible way you can make that comparison. Kobe Bryant and Tim Duncan?
You can do it with accolades, but
that's it. That's it. Like, I don't even put Tim in that conversation when I'm talking about. And shout outs to Peter. He says Killer Instinct is overrated. All right, man. Listen, all I'm saying is this. We can end it with that. We can move on to the real topics. The eyeball test don't lie, bro. You watch Jordan play, you know what I'm talking about when I say Killer Instinct. When you watch Kobe Bryant play, you know what I'm talking about when I say Killer Instinct. That's not
NBA. You're looking at the NBA now versus the NBA in the 90s. Mm-hmm. You look at the NBA in the 90s. Oh, Killer Instinct was very apparent. That was dang near a requirement. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if you was one of those closeout kind of players, that was a requirement dang near. Think about it. Think about this suit. Jordan played in a league where you had all kinds of big men. You had some of the greatest big men ever to play the game when Jordan was playing. Ever. You know what I'm saying? Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon, Dikembe Mutombo, David Robinson, Shaq. All these bigs and then forwards and stuff like that he played against and everything. Beating these teams, man. Beating these teams. So you got to remember. Think about who he had. Look at who Michael Jordan had. He had who was big man he had. He had Bill Wennington, Luke Longley. Those are the big men he had going up against the likes of Karl Malone, Sean Kemp. You know what I'm saying? Who else was some key guys that he had went up against back then? They battled with the Knicks and everything back then. Listen. Even then, who was the center that they had? Who was the center they had? Bill Cartwright. Come on, dude. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you had to be a killer. You had to be cut from a certain cloth.
My man AI
like that.
My man Crazy AI. Dean just said AI was and that's all I'm saying. Like, I hope guys are not misunderstanding my point. Even with the Tim Duncan thing. Guys, I look at Tim Duncan as being one of the greatest players ever. And he just was quiet. Very quiet. Very, you didn't hear much. But when I say I can't compare those guys, I can't compare him to Kobe in terms of basketball player. Accolades, of course. Mr. Fundamentals. Right. How successful were the Spurs? But I'm just talking about when people talk about who are this and who are that, they always try to say who was better, Mike, Kobe, or LeBron. And those guys are similar in terms of the way they play. I can't throw Tim Duncan in that category. Tim Duncan don't ball like that. You know what I mean? Timmy is your prototypical power forward. He gonna backboard you to death, can pass, he's smart, got defense, but he ain't, you know what I mean? He ain't running the floor like that. That's all I'm saying is why I say I can't compare Duncan. I could never sit there and say Tim Duncan was a greater basketball player than Kobe Bryant. I can't say that. I just can't. I don't know. But anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. We talking about basketball. We done went in on basketball so long. So, man, all right. I'll kick it off, Smitty, man, because I see this. We've seen this conversation come up a few times. Now, I will say it's partly true, but I can't give them that pass. And the question is, do we think that the NFL is impeding the progress of Madden with all of the things that it, restricts them from putting in the game and things that they can't do or things they once had, or imagine some of the storylines you could build like your NFL blitz type of thing. Obviously, we know the NFL is not having things like that. Ain't nobody gonna be steroids, shooting up and PEDs, and you're not gonna have, your helmets are probably not gonna pop off again because of the concussions and little things like that, gruesome injuries we might not see. I get it. But as far as impeding their progress, bruh, listen, the NFL can't be telling Madden not to put in true ball trajectories or true physics, where I'm talking where the physics are being accounted for at all times. Authentic player movement, AI, I mean, should I continue? There's no way nobody's going to tell me that the NFL is the reason for that. Oh, no. Because, again, and shout outs to Smitty, man, for some of you guys that's been watching Smitty's daytime streams. I happen to catch them because I be here working at home, and I just see on my phone Smitty streaming. I cut it on, and I do two things at one time. But Smitty's playing Madden 12 today, from PS2, and showing you how certain principles were playing out. The way the ball was being thrown and the ball placement. And my point of saying that is Madden had this stuff. They had all of this. So there's no way are you going to get me to believe that the NFL magically came in and said, oh, take that out, take this out, don't improve franchise, no way. No way. To me, the NFL is only getting in the way of things you might want to see in the game. That's, again, the ridiculously big hits that cause concussions and all that. We ain't going to see that. We ain't seeing the helmets pop off and all that kind of stuff. Because obviously the NFL just not, they want to keep the game as clean as possible. Same reason, Smitty and I found this out some years ago. You're not going to see dynamic attendance. That's one of the things that, the NFL don't necessarily want. Nobody's stadium should be empty. Little stuff like that is where they get in the way. They're not getting in the way in terms of how the game should replicate their sport. At least I don't believe that to be the case. Because if that was the case, I mean, what would be the NFL's angle? Like, what would be their angle in saying, nah, we don't want you to make the game as real as possible? And again, Luke, I know you've asked this question quite a few times, man, and we want you to try to understand things from a business standpoint, right? I understand you always ask, why can't they have a network, or why can't they have, Troy and Buck and this, that, and the third. Listen, when it comes down to those type of things, they could do exactly what they want. They just don't want to pay for that. That's all it is. I mean, let's be honest. Let me throw something else at you guys. Now, I don't know this to be true, but this is just me trying to use what savviness I might have in my own mind to kind of draw connect these dots here. Okay, so a few years ago, they went to Brandon Garden, and they also went to Charles Davis. And shout outs to them. They do as good a job as they're able to do, right? Now, they once had, who did they have right before that? They had Sims and Nance. Okay, and a lot of people got tired of them because we got tired of hearing the stitched together, audio, because a lot of times Phil and Nance wasn't recording together. So let me show you how business works, right? Again, this is just my opinion, but I'm going to show you how to start peeping things differently for some of you guys that don't do it. Ironically, that year, the Phil and Nance contract was coming to an end. And they cost big money, in case you guys didn't know that. these guys are very busy, and that's part of the reason why you couldn't always get those guys in the studio together, which I always have thought that's crazy anyway. With any game, to me, the best way for you to get the more authentic audio is when guys are recording together. Now, I don't think you always have to do that, but you got to be really good with following the script. Well, whatever. Let's fast forward. So, their contract expires, and all of a sudden, they introduce us, Brandon Garden and Charles Davis, and they sell us on the fact that there'll be more recording time. Y'all remember that? Remember how many hours they showed y'all? And the reason why is because these are local guys. They're available right there in Orlando. You know, even though Charles Davis is known for the NFL Network, he does broadcast on Sunday, but he lives in Orlando. That's his home base, and it's easy to get him and Brandon in the studio to record together. First year we heard it, we was all like, great, this could, I see where this could really go. They're updating the audio every week. Second and third year now? Pretty much the same. I haven't seen much of a change. And now see, that's coming from, you know, resources and development time. But my point is, there's no mystery why they did that. Yes, they give you the benefit, right? They massage you with the benefit and tell you why this would be beneficial, which I do agree it is beneficial because these guys are together. But what they didn't tell you is, oh, it's going to cost a lot less for these guys. It ain't going to be as much as it was for Nance and Sim. So I could pretty much, I'm not going to guarantee, because there's no guarantees in the world, but I don't think we're going to see for a while that there's going to be one of those marquee commentators that's going to be back in Madden. I don't see it happening. If it does, great, because that means that, you know, they're starting to spend more money in areas that they need to. But again, I don't have a problem with Charles and Brandon. If they can build on what they created, it would be great, because the chemistry does sound a lot better. But just want to throw y'all that, throw that at y'all, man. It's that's the reason why. That's the real reason why. It's more cost efficient for that company, for that particular building, EA Tiburon. So when you ask for things like why can't they have this, why can't they have that in terms of presentation and commentary, they can. But it goes back to what Smitty and I always say. Where do they want to spend their money and resources? Y'all seen NHL, you see how they had the real team there, and I don't even know if they still do, I think they do, but in the beginning, they got the real people's faces there. It's actual video of them commentating. But, so you're not going to say that EA couldn't do that, but what we always say is we have to remember who's managing Madden and how they choose to spend their money and resources. So I just don't want, I guess, Smitty, what I'm saying is I don't want people to get so worked up about those type of things. And I'm not trying to sit here and tell you what's more important, because we all have our own important factors. But stuff like that, to me, is way down the list. Because the game itself, and again, the preferences before I throw it to Smitty, this ain't got nothing to do with the NFL as far as how that game performs on the field. And it's so frustrating because they're so close but so far away. They need to focus on, like Smitty said in his stream earlier, just the way some of these mechanics work. Get real pass trajectories back in the game. Real ball placement. Untether these animations. Because it's funny, Smitty, as much as what we wanted in the past when we were asking for better, when you go back and look at games like that, like you playing today, you see situations where you're able to zip the ball in there. You're able to zip a ball to a guy. You was like on like the 10-yard line, and you throw like a little quick out, get him in the end zone. Defender's right there. He doesn't magically warp and knock the ball down, or he doesn't magically warp into a two-man animation. And speaking of two-man animations, I played a league game here before the show started. I actually did win 13-10. Great game for the most part. But there was situations in that game where I throw a deep post to James Washington. He's running, and all of a sudden the defender's close enough to go into a tackle battle. And then since he went into the tackle battle, the trailing defender's able to suck in. And I'm like, see, those type of things. You got to get rid of that You have to get rid of the scripted key on demand, like on demand, boom, go into this triggered animation. If they could remove that, think of how much better the game would be if there was nothing governing that. If that space really mattered, if you a step away, you a step away. Make physics work at all times. Everything should be governed by physics. Every single animation should be able to be altered, augmented by physics. Any situation, I don't care if it is a canned sequence, if somebody else comes in, they should be able to augment it. Think of where that takes the game. Total another level. And then get your trench play back in there to where leverage and mass and all that is working again. Watching Smitty stream again. What is something that was in that game that we've missed for quite a few years now? Dedicated pass rush moves. With the right analog stick. Do a swim. Do a rip. Do a spin. See what I'm saying? It's right there, man. The game is right there for the taking if they just focus on that. And those things do not fall on the NFL. Do not fall on the NFL. You know what, Smitty? Let me say something real quick, man, before I pass it to you. Listen, I'm going to be really quick. And, you know, this ain't no disrespect, but I'm going to just say what I got to say, man. I see the comment here from Del Monte 30. For as many times as people say why y'all keep beating a dead horse, can I ask why y'all keep listening? Is it fair for me to ask that question? Because there's always at least a couple people, anytime we do a show, anytime we on Twitter, anytime we do a video, man, why do you keep coming around? Do y'all know how many people I don't listen to on YouTube no more? Some of y'all's favorites. Do y'all know how many people I don't talk to on Twitter? Because I'm cool. I'm cool on that. So, as a grown man, what I was able to do is be like, I don't need to hear that. And I keep it pushing. But it just always shocks me how it's cool that you could give your opinion. I love opinions. I love constructive feedback. I love criticism. I love when somebody be like, yo, I ain't really like how you sounded right there. Maybe you should try. I take all of that in. But it baffles me when somebody always trying to tell you how you should do something. Why you doing this? Why you doing that? Yet they are always there to hear it. I don't understand that. And if you feel like we're beating a dead horse, I invite you to listen to some of our other shows as recent as last week when I'm very vocal about saying, yo, I don't know, bruh. I think I'm coming to the end of my rope. It's funny, Smitty, how they don't never hear that. They only hear the stuff that fits into their narrative, but they don't never hear how fed up we are and how we really close to being done with this whole thing. I don't know. I just felt like I needed to say that, man. You know what I mean? For no other reason than I just felt like I needed to say that. But I don't know. So that's how I feel about it, man. Listen, if you tired of hearing what we talking about, what I'm talking about, what Smitty's talking about, stop listening. That's very easy. Very easy to do that. But go ahead, Smitty. What you got, man?
I mean, no. Going back to I'll first say the first thing that I'll say. Okay, this guy. Oh, okay. He just been away for a minute, Sim. That's all he is. Okay.
Stay away. Do us a favor. Stay away, bro.
Okay. It's all good. But I mean, as far as the game and Madden not progressing and things like that, like you said, like I said in the stream here, like I said, the funny thing is that the energy I had when I was playing APF, like, yo, look at this good stuff happening. Look at this football and everything, you know, listening to the crowd, seeing people on the sideline interact.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing, you know, when a big play happens and looking at the animations and how they're happening in the trenches and all of that stuff, right? All these football things, little things, good things happening in game. And then I played Madden today, and it's like the same level of excitement. Now, of course, it's a lesser gen, so it's not going to have as much sizzle and pop with certain elements like animations, physics, all that stuff, right? But for how that system was built back on Gen 2, it delivers a really clean game of football. And that's just the key thing. Got clean controls with the passing, with the running, with the player movement when it comes to the secondary play. I mean, good game. Very good game. Playing Steelers and not my team, but with the Seahawks. And that was a great game right there. It was clean, it was balanced, there and then all those control options, everything's there. And I didn't even use everything. That's the whole thing. There's a lot. There's plenty of options to be able to use in that Madden 12 because they pack so much in on that game. That's why their presentation is very straightforward with minimal replays. You know what I'm saying? Even the menu, how EA usually would have videos playing in the background and all that stuff. None of that's in there because they pack as many features and aspects into that game. Like QB Vision is even in that game. It's just turned off. But see, that's the whole thing. I didn't even have to use QB Vision, and I could do legitimate passing. You know what I'm saying? And the stuff there isn't anything. There's nothing that we showcased that was showcased in that game that you're telling me EA wouldn't be able to do regardless of the NFL having their say. It has nothing to do with it. Passing, giving us, well flushed out gameplay. That's just football. But the problem that I have is that, we keep this. It's like we're looking at, and I mean, I get the perspectives, but and they're all valid because, like Sim said, dynamic attendance, helmets popping off, and stuff like that. Concussion protocols and everything else. Like they're mindful of that stuff, and they have to adjust their game accordingly when those things are brought to their attention from the NFL side. But that's the kind of stuff that the NFL will harp on. They're not, like there's certain things to a degree that they will, they'll all of a sudden be like, no, I don't think you could do that. Or you're going to have to tone that down. Otherwise, these dudes should be able to go all out in making the best game that they possibly can, regardless of what mode they're in or setting that they're on, whatever. That's what should be happening. And we don't have that right now in Madden. And that's the big time problem that we keep on running into time after time after time. So, the NFL, in my opinion, is not keeping them from progressing or building. It's the people internally that it's over the dev team that are keeping them from progressing and building. Sim and I have been to the studio multiple times. Just like when Kobe came to us with that idea when you, me, and AZ were at the studio that one time. He had an awesome idea that if it was implemented in the game would have helped take the game to another level. There's stuff that Rex had talked about over the years that he wanted to do in terms of implementing into the game, and he wasn't, and clearly it hasn't happened yet. Stuff that he really wanted to do to make the game really sizzle and pop. And remember, this is the same guy that straight up said, I wanted to fix the game, and marketing said that wasn't, that's not, we can't market fixes. So, and we can't promote fixes, so that's not marketable enough. So it's like, when these devs are told no, guess what they have to go ahead and do anyway? We have to go ahead and implement this feature, implement this new gameplay mechanic or whatever, but they know the ground is shaky as all get up, and they want to fix it. But they're not allowed to fix it. So if they're not allowed to fix it, well then guess what's going to happen? They're going to have a messed up game that ships out, and the unfortunate part is that even though they want the game to be better, they got to stand behind it. They don't really have a choice. They have to stand behind it and be like, yeah, guys, this is what we did this year in Madden. I know we wanted to fix the game, and see, that's why I appreciated Rex for being so wide open with his his mouthpiece in his own streams and all that stuff. That's what he said. PR people would be on his case so much because he spoke openly. He spoke very free and clear, like letting us all know what's really going on from his position. He's letting he basically let everybody know we're handcuffed here. We're handcuffed when it comes to developing. You know, we want the game to be much better. That's what we all want and desire that. But we're handcuffed. So that's the situation. That's why I say it's not the NFL. It's the people that are in the building, man. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, people want to sit up here. I know people going to say what they wanted to say. That's perfectly fine. But the thing is, listen, the stuff with BioWare, like the perfect example, look at what happened with BioWare and look at where their game is at. Look at where Anthem is at this point. Look at where Mass Effect was at. You know what I'm saying? The EA made them cats go ahead and do that work anyways. Even though the hardships and everything, even through all that. Yet, you look at what Respawn Entertainment did with Apex Legends. EA tried to interject, and they said, no. We got this. Y'all just publish. We got everything. We got everything else under control. We don't need y'all for nothing except publish. Just distribute the game, and that's it. That's all we want from y'all. We got everything else under control. And look at how that game is killing it. I would love to see 2 to 3 years of the devs just being able to say, you know what, we got this. Let us do it. Let us do the thing. You guys just publish, distribute, and market. We make the game. We'll let you guys know what the feature set is and all that good stuff. Blase, blase, blah. Y'all market it. We build it. If you don't like what we build based upon what public response is, then we'll do something about it. But otherwise, let us do the work. And that's just a problem. Every single year on this generation of console gaming, they first launch the game, has all kinds of awesome things going on with the game, and then that game ends up getting nuked. It gets nuked within 2 months' time. That game is nuked. That RPM article they had, you could throw that thing in the trash now. The way the player movement is in Madden 19, please. That article is a complete farce compared to the way the game runs now. So that's what I'm saying. And that's jacked up to be able to say that. So, but yeah, man, that's pretty much my take on that, man. You know, but I'll be right back. I gotta tend to the little fella real quick.
Yeah. What's up, Blackbird? That's a good point that he makes, man. It's like, I'm trying to put it in perspective. And I'm gonna be honest, man. Y'all knows every now and then I gotta keep it a buck with y'all, man. It's getting real old, like trying to convince people to believe in the truth that we provide. Let me explain. The average person, and I'm speaking to some of you guys who are listening, some of you who may listen later, some of you may come across this video. The average consumer, y'all have no idea why this and why that. Same way I didn't. Same way Smitty didn't. Same way Azure didn't, etc., etc. Right? We get this great opportunity to find out exactly why. And as tenured game changers, we have a lot of information that we know to be fact. So I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm gonna lay off for trying to convince people to believe in, their opinion over what I'm telling them as the truth of what's actually happening. Like, it always baffles me how you would challenge that when, first of all, you have guys like us that probably the only ones out here spewing it like that. You know what I mean? With the exception of guys like, I'm going to give definitely big credit to my boy Zan. Zan, plays in the competitive community, but he knows his football and he's been very vocal. Guys like that. You've heard guys in the past like Relly, spew a lot of things that he knows to be fact. And it's funny how it all aligns back to the same thing, same things we be saying. You've heard Gibbs and Frawls say things in the past about Band-Aid fixes, etc., etc. Like, when we be telling you the truth, I don't understand how y'all develop your own opinion off of, nah, that ain't it. This is really what's happening. Really? Really? I don't understand how some of y'all are still stuck on this, the devs reason. Listen, the devs are at fault for what's going on right now in the game. You got to separate the two. I give the devs blame for the game that's produced. What I mean, like my man just said here about the fall forward. That's a dev thing. Y'all did something when y'all went to tweak or whatever you did with the last patch, and y'all messed something up. That's a dev thing. So I want to be very clear so y'all understand where we're coming from. The devs, and here's a funny thing too. I'll speak directly to this guy, Del Monte. I'm going to speak to you this one last time, and then after that, man, whatever. I don't understand how... Now, you know what? I'm not even going to address that. It ain't even worth my time, man. To be honest, it ain't even worth my time. No. Blackbird, I know exactly what you're saying, and I fully agree with you. Here's the thing. The devs are responsible for what we're seeing in that fall forward situation. Y'all did something. That's your fault. The game that you produce, we got to hold you responsible for that. For that game that you put out. Y'all did that. Yeah, I understand you working with what you can work with, but whatever you present to the community, we got to judge you on that. Right? Now, there are some things that you'll hear me and Smitty, some things that we will say that's, you know, a little more lenient because we understand some of the root cause and we understand what it takes. Okay, here it is. So for people that always want to say it's the dev's fault, look at Rex, for example. Y'all all know why he not there. You heard what Smitty just said. Y'all know what he was battling if you really listen to him. Rex was advocating fixing things. Okay? What did he just say? Marketing comes back and say, well, we can't market that. That should tell you right there, well, whose problem was it? Who's trying to make the game better and who's trying to say, well, can we do this instead? And that's my point. It should be easy for y'all to see that, okay? If we thought Madden was great back in the day, what changed? What changed? You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna let, I don't know. I don't even care. I don't know why I'm sitting here trying to argue somebody's opinion. I'm just saying, man. It is what it is at the end of the day. And my thing is, guys, like you guys who, what does it hurt for us to keep making noise? If they change it, they do. If they don't, they don't. And that's what I think some people get it twisted. Y'all think we really care. That's the funny thing. You think I really care. I don't care if they fix the game or not. I'm a consumer at the end of the day. Yes, I haven't paid for the game since I've been a game changer, but what I'm saying is I'm just like everybody else. I like to enjoy a good football game if one can be made. Guess who's the only company making a real football game? So why not keep trying to go beyond just the dev level? Maybe we can make enough noise eventually where somebody will start hearing it. It doesn't cost anybody anything. That's what I think people fail to realize. Oh, y'all been saying the same thing. So what? Who does it hurt? That's my question. Who does it hurt for a group of people to continue to talk about what they would prefer to see in this game? Who's losing here? That's my question. And see, here's the point too. I got to go back to Blackbird. Again, I'm not picking on anybody, but my man Ackerman here, he's saying 3 games and they still ain't changed the scoreboard. But do y'all see how different people in the community are? I could care less about what they do with the scoreboard. That's just me. It's more important things to be addressed. I could care less about, like my man Blackbird said, the combine mode right now. I do want all that stuff in franchise, but not unless the gameplay can support it. to me, until they improve the gameplay, man, I really don't care about a lot of this stuff. Because that gameplay, listen, the biggest problem with Madden's gameplay, we've said this 100 times, man. They got to go away from those. The two-man sequences and the two-man animation interactions is just, it's overrun. Can we get more one-on-one situations again? That has crippled this game. Tackle battles is insane. That should not ever be in the game. I'm on record saying that 3 years ago. Ask Rex, did I say that? Down at EA in front of everybody. That's stupid. That's dumb. Get it out of there. I don't like that. When they introduced it to us. Go and ask him. I bet you he'll tell you, oh yeah, I remember that. That kind of stuff shouldn't be in the game. It's not real. And the reason why, I'm cool with being able to have a chance to break the tackle, but y'all saw what it created, right? It created a warp. It created a warp animation. Because like I said, how many times have you been out on a toss? Or how many times have your guy, you running, streaking down the field, and somebody is close to you, and all of a sudden it pulls you into that tackle battle. And then whoever's around that is sucked in now into a two-man animation to complete the sequence. That kind of stuff should never happen. And that's what I'm saying, bruh. Those type of things kill the game. Warped animations for interceptions. Warped animations to create the SWAT. Oh boy, how overpowered is the SWAT? It's to a point now when you on a streak and your man has, say, a foot, maybe a step in front of the defender. The ball is ironically placed in the right spot, but what happens every time? User SWAT. It's almost 100%. That's not real. Y'all see what I'm saying? They have to fix those things. And again, I don't care, who disagrees with, oh, y'all keep saying this. So what? I'm going to keep saying it until they fix it. Or until, like I said, hey, you never know. This time next year, I might not be still rocking. But I'll still be vocal about the game. I'm just saying, man, why does it matter? I've never understood why it matters to some that people are continuing to speak. Who cares? The game still ain't fixed. So you rather just nobody be around? Would y'all rather it be where there's nobody, speaking on behalf of the community, or nobody complaining? We just all stay silent and the same result. So that's my only challenge. Like, what else would you prefer to happen? You tell me. Maybe I'm going about it the wrong way, since maybe you're the genius. Tell me what to do. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the funny thing, man. That's just my opinion. People might not agree with that, but I feel like the game is not as far away as people think it is. I'm telling you, once and for all, if they eliminate those forced... Look at what 2K did this year. Is 2K perfect? No. But just imagine if Madden was able to reduce those controlled two-man sequences the way 2K has drastically reduced it in 2K19. Wouldn't that make a big difference? And just assume all of a sudden now they put the right ball trajectories and ball placement in the game. Oh, whoa. Now all of a sudden they got physics actually meaning more in the game. Y'all gonna tell me that ain't gonna take the game to the next level? That's why a lot of people keep talking, because it can be done. It can be done. We're not asking for them to reinvent the wheel. All we're asking them to do is change the way some of this code works in the AI. That ain't that hard. But you got to be vocal. You have to be. You have to be vocal. I mean, listen, again, y'all can say, hey, man, but y'all keep saying the same thing. So what? I mean, so what? Just like my man Hollywood Sports. I see Hollywood always putting up his videos, man. And and I wish Hollywood got way more exposure, because he be talking real stuff in his videos. But so should I tell him to just never make another video again? Oh, because they ain't going to change it. What difference do it make? It don't cost Hollywood any money to do that. He do it because he feel like it. And this is the thing. I will ask you this question, Del Monte. I want you to answer this. And I want you to be serious about this. I'm not picking on you. I really want you to answer this question because, again, I'm going to get a little deep on y'all real quick. As a society right now, as a society of people, I don't understand the logic sometimes of the way people work. If you feel that way, your exact comment is, it can be done, but they ain't doing it. Or you feel like they ain't never going to do it. Why are you even still in the mix? That's my only question. I invite anybody to watch whatever I do. I invite anybody to give their opinion. I invite anybody to disagree. We could chop it up. But my question is if you are done with something, why can't you just be done with something? I don't get it. I don't get it. I got a lot of people that I've met through YouTube that I'm cool with that don't rock with Madden and all no more. And you know what? They don't never talk about it. They never check on it. They don't get no opinion because they like, yeah, I'm good. I'm done. You know who else do that? I do that with Call of Duty. Call of Duty ain't my thing, and I just let it go. So that's all I'm saying. I want to see the real. I want to see the real. If you done, be done. Otherwise, don't worry about why people keep trying to make things happen. You never know. Maybe one day we might get through. And as long as it don't cost us any money, and it ain't really taking up our time, it don't hurt for us to continue to demand better. Why? Because we are all football heads and we want a real football game to play. I don't want to go back and play an old game. I ain't doing that on no PS4 and no gaming PC. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, and I ain't knocking nobody who do that, but why should I do that? I left those games. It was a reason why I bought the next one, and I got Madden 04, and then I got Madden 05. Then, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't think about playing the older game because each year the game supposed to progress. But whatever. I digress. Let's move on, man. And hopefully Smitty will come in and chime in on this next topic. Then after that, we will be up out of here because we ain't got a lot of time left here tonight. I want to talk about MLB The Show, man. Perfect segue. It's funny how when a game finally gets there, there's not a whole lot more to do in terms of gameplay. I'm waiting for Madden to get to this level. You notice MLB The Show don't really have a lot to do every year? You notice they kind of be, trying to find things to do, right? And the gameplay part is not really what I wanted to talk about. But I'm just going to say this piece really quick. Look at the last 2-3 years maybe of MLB The Show. What really changed? Major changes have they done? What major changes? What? Anybody know? And listen, this ain't even a knock on them. The thing is, the gameplay is so good that all they've been doing lately is tweaking. Yeah, we've done some things with the PCI. Oh, yeah. And this year they did add more. You know what they added? More defensive, smarter AI to where they, if they know they got time in the field, like if it's a slower guy, you're gonna see them take their time, gather themselves, make the throw. If it's a guy who's fast, they're gonna be smart enough to know now, oh, I gotta hurry up and get this ball out. Little stuff, they just tweaking what's already in the game. That's a beautiful thing. Now, like my man Nighthawk just said, I gotta knock them for not having online franchise. I talked about that I think a week ago, or maybe the week before that. That's a knock on them, okay? Because they claimed that it was gonna be in 18. They took it out of 18. They're trying to get it correct. Now it ain't gonna be in 19 either. That's 2 years consecutively. There's no online franchise. Now I'll be real. I wouldn't be playing it online because for one, I don't have enough people that I think I would be able to be in a league with. And I don't even know baseball to that degree, so it doesn't affect me, but it does affect somebody. and they once had it. So that's some sucker stuff that they don't have that back. This is 2 years in a row. But let me get to okay, good. Let me get to what I wanted to talk about, man, about that series, and then I'll throw it to Smitty, and then I'll probably wrap us up for the night. Road to October, man, or March to October as they call it. You know what I thought about, man, when I first saw that? I was like, okay, let me see what this is all about. Why are they doing it? I was like, okay, they just reaching right now. Let me see what they're trying to do, because last year they wanted to streamline, you know, your experience, and, you know, you have these moments and all of that jazz. So I was like, well, what can this March to October be? But once I listened in on it, and I was like, wow. So they went the extra mile to offer another experience for the player that wants to somewhat play somewhat of just a season. But even more important than that, it does dump you into franchise if you win the World Series. So there's some incentive. But more importantly, it allows you, it basically took Madden's play the moment to the next level. You busting through a season in no time, only playing the most important parts or sequences or innings of each week, and some of the games are simmed. But hold up, Smitty, they ain't stopped there. No, they didn't just give you some little cute, you know, oh, we can just speed through the franchise. No. Based on if you win or not, particularly in your opening week, that's going to determine what type of momentum you carry. Your momentum meter is basically going to dictate how much you could possibly win or lose in sim games. I mean, it's a whole bunch of stuff going on in that mode. But here's the meat and potatoes of my point. How is it that a game like MLB The Show is still trying to find ways to develop for their franchise mode? Meanwhile, Madden is still where it's at. Meanwhile, we still argue with people within the Game Changer program that don't feel like some of these things are as important. Or they feel like the only way they're going to improve franchise is if they monetize it, which I understand the root of what you're saying, but miss me with the whole they have to monetize. No way.
Don't even get me, boy.
Oh, I'm about to throw it to you. I'm gonna let you take us on home. But you see what I'm saying? MLB. Now, is their franchise mode the greatest? I can't answer that. I'm not a baseball guy. I've heard that it's super, you know, deep. I've been playing. I still am actually playing MLB 18. But again, I don't know what I should be looking for. But I can tell it does have depth with all the things you can do and all of the rosters and there's certain periods of the year when you can do this and do that in the draft. I mean, all I'm saying is, why is it that Madden is the only game that we are allowing to get away with not doing anything really for franchise mode? It's getting to a point, and I know we sat here, Smitty, and we talked about gameplay here tonight, and yes, it is the most important thing, but at least you can put lipstick on the pig. I mean, just put some lipstick on it. At least give me some depth and let me at least have fun, even while I'm waiting for your gameplay to get better. But I ain't got either one right now. Like if Madden's franchise was fully blown out, I'm telling you I could stomach the gameplay a little better. We'll still be pissed, but at least we could have a great experience. Because like I said, Madden ain't the greatest, but we play in a 32-man league, and we have a pretty good, decent time in there, just with the camaraderie, and, you know, it's fun. But imagine how great it could be if that boy was deep. And that's my point, man. This show ain't even got to do that. And they still increasing and adding to the franchise mode. And I'm going to tell you something, Smitty. That March to October is right up my alley, brother. I'm all over that. Because for one, I ain't got time to play no 160 games or 62 games. And again, I'm not a baseball guy. But how much fun is for me to take my little Pirates and every time I'm just cracking at it. See how close I can get. See how close I can get. Maybe one time I might get to the World Series. Like, that is going to keep me immersed and intrigued. So, it's just disappointing, man, to watch all of these other games and all these other sports genres get these improvements. And the game I love the most, as far as football, I can't get that. But how you feel about it, man, in general, man, about this whole march, or just basically what they've done with their franchise, the new mode they got?
Yeah, I mean, the thing, see, this is the thing. What was it? Last year they did some refinements to their franchise mode and people scoffed at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I mean, they did some genuine work to it last year. And now I know a guy, we follow on Twitter, Lex Marsden.
Yeah.
He played his whole entire season. Like, he played every single game, made management, made the adjustments, all that stuff, because he would mention it on Twitter here and there and stuff like that. And it's like, for you to be able to play through a whole season, play through your franchise and literally dedicate and play all 162 plus games, that's telling it right there. Like, there's a lot of value. And he's a franchise mode kind of player. So if it has value, he's going to want to play it. That March to October mode is still, see, like what you just said, Sim, it's quick, it's accessible, but it's high in value. It's high in replayability, and the core gameplay value is already there. They already have good gameplay, and they made it even better this year with, like you said, the defensive AI, and they have, like you said, like they said as well, the different icons. Like, you could tell underneath the icon, like, how good those players are or whatever. Are they good, great, poor, things like that. So when it comes to how they field, everybody's not fielding the same. So they're adding even more personality outside of batting stances and how they run the diamond. Now you also have how they feel. You see what I'm saying? Like, see, it's when you do things like that to your game, that's the kind of stuff that adds value and keep people playing. That's the kind of stuff that'll keep people playing all year round. Because just think about when you call people up, from your dynasty or your minor league clubs. Or what about players that you draft and you develop? It's not like the show doesn't have decent features already in their franchise mode. See, once again, when you fully, it's just like what's the best way I could put it is like, that's like saying you have a 10-room mansion and you're upset because your house isn't as big as the mansion across the street that's got 50. Because you're lacking those 5 rooms, it's like, man, this house is terrible. I can't believe we even live in here. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's what it is. You have a good franchise mode, a very good franchise mode in MLB The Show. Does it need it? Now, of course, does it have its ups and downs? Are there things that could be improved upon, refined, etc.? Oh, of course. Of course. But it's already good. And that's the whole thing. You already have good gameplay. And even though people complain about issues and stuff like that, like just like every hardcore crowd with these games, there's going to be dissatisfaction. But the bottom line is that there's more. Like, I could watch a baseball game on TV or actually go to a game, and then I could go home and fire up MLB The Show, and it emulates that. It emulates it real well. Not just because from a visual fidelity standpoint, but because the way the game actually plays.
Mm-hmm.
I could say the same thing about NBA 2K. I could say the same thing about FIFA, same thing about PES. I may not even know who the players are, but if I watch, you know, I don't know, FC Barcelona go up against whomever it is or whatever, like whatever team, I'm seeing these guys legitimately do work out there. Like they're balling. And I'm seeing like, wow, I could see the scope of the game, how the game flows, the ebb and flow of it, and then fire up FIFA and or PES and still get that same kind of joy out of the, you know, and high replayability because of the quality of the game that I get. When we look at Madden and we talk about franchise modes or anything that resembles March or October, it's not present. It's not there. It's not there, period. And like what Sim said, yes, every time I bring up, and I said it earlier this week, it's like every time I bring up anything that has to deal with immersion and depth, it's always met with resistance. Like there's a problem with depth. There's always a question of, well, is it going to go too far? Well, we don't want to make people confused because there's already people that can't handle what's in Madden right now. I'm like, stop. Stop it. PS2 Madden had more depth than what's out here right now.
It's that corporate talk, man.
Yeah, all these other sports titles have deeper franchise modes than what Madden has today. And I'm sorry, you're not going to put that in the same boat and be like, oh, I don't know if we should innovate. I mean, we all want depth, but no, that's what it should be. Period. Franchise mode does not have high replayability. Just like Sim. How many times have y'all heard Sim say, man, the only reason why we play in franchise mode is because, you know, we've been doing it for so long, and the only reason why you still see me playing Madden mainly is because I got this dynasty, you know, this league we in. That shouldn't be it though. So that when you hear people talk like that, and I've seen people disband their CFMs. Oh, we've been running a Madden franchise for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and we just shut it down. It's because the game does not have the replay value that it should have at this point. It doesn't have the replay value. That's the problem. That's all of that is part of the problem. You got to have the high replay value. And if you're not going to have the replay value, this is what ends up happening at the end of the day. So EA has to deliver. And see, the odds of me being at EA Play this year are extremely slim. I wish I was going this year. I honestly do. Because, and I mean, it's not like I'm going to get at devs or nothing like that, but I'm just going to keep it a buck. I'll sit right there with Clinton, tell him like, man, look, your executives suck. Flat out, your bosses suck, man. They're not letting y'all do this work. I mean, you don't have to tell me. Your game tells me. It's real easy to see. Real easy to see. Just like when you look at that Justice League, and I'll end it with this to give it to Sim. When you look at Justice League and you see how Zack Snyder, release the Snyder Cut. Why are they fighting so hard for that? Because the studio executives they hired this accredited director, producer, or whatever, and they won't let him do the film in his vision. You see what I'm saying? That sounds very eerily familiar to what we're talking about with this game, man.
Sure does.
Me and Sim been to the studio many a times. There's many things that we didn't heard. Talking to these people one-to-one. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do this way. I want to do this that way. It ain't in the game. And if it was, this game would be on a whole nother level right now. And that's the same thing that happened with that Star Wars game they was going to make. EA shut down Visceral and shut that down. They will hire... look, and I mean, this is just real. They will hire some of the most talented people out there. You brought somebody over from Naughty Dog to head up that project. And what did you do? Shut it down. How you gonna bring somebody from Naughty Dog that worked on Uncharted and everything to head up a project that you all of a sudden decide to shut down? The lady said herself, they made a different business decision. They chose to change the direction of what they wanted to do, and we wasn't in that plan, and they shut it down. That's jacked up. And that's why you can look at Anthem and the state it's been in with all this messed up stuff, and that's BioWare, a company that's made great titles. And this game all over the place. This and that Mass Effect. Hey, Mass Effect Andromeda, they shut down the Canada studio after that game. See what I'm saying? So don't get it twisted, man. These dudes, these men and women, yeah, they do hard work. And they do hard work. Now, don't get me wrong. They do work hard. But the problem is, that's why I said they're like plant workers to an extent. They're just doing a role on the assembly line, but any of their own ambitions are not truly being fulfilled. They may let them fulfill something on the tail end, but it's not being fulfilled the way that it should be. And they should truly be able to work and do their job the way they can, the way they should be able to, and deliver us the product that we deserve. And I feel very confident that they would be able to do it. I have no reason in the world to think they couldn't. But EA got to let them. The bosses got to let them do it. And let them shine. Hey, that's why I said, I've told Sim numerous times, Madden could and should easily be selling 10+ million copies. They ain't moving nothing like that right now. They're not moving close to that. They're not going to move that as long as this game keep moving at the way it is, especially when it keeps on being broken after 2 months due to patches and updates and stuff. And I think some of the stuff is unnecessary. Even though some of the updates do help, but at the same time, there's a lot of hindering going on with these updates. I ain't feeling that. So I just hope that when it comes to Madden 20, that they seriously bang. And that the game can somewhat, at least somewhat, in the midst of patching and all that, that the core integrity of the game is not going to be completely compromised. Because that keeps on happening, man. But if it does happen, oh, I don't worry about it. I won't be playing Madden 20 that long. I won't. I refuse to just try to push through and play. No, I'll check it out when the title update happens. And then after that, I'll go ahead and play other games that are more fulfilling, whether it's sports or not. I'll give my feedback and I'll keep it trucking. That's it, man. Because you gotta deliver at this. Like you have to let these people deliver. Otherwise, it's gonna be a moot point to tell them the same kind of things that need to be done. That's just like dudes ask us for franchise feedback. You don't need franchise feedback. We gave you all the feedback you need. There's too much stuff that's been said across a whole community over all these years. You got all the info you need. Build it. That's it. Give them the resources, give them the manpower they need if necessary, and build it. End of story. So, sorry about that, Sim. I kind of went ranting there. But
nah, that's good, man.
Go ahead, man.
That's it, man. I ain't got nothing else as far as topics. We can wrap it, man. But that's it in a nutshell, man. You know, is the reason why you might hear people still demand and complain is simply put, Madden is still a part of a lot of people's rotation. I don't get that upset about the game, in case you guys were wondering. Like, I even see my man's in here said he had to restart a lot of his franchise modes. But see, that's my point. Like, you still playing it. There's a lot of people still playing it. So that's why I don't ever understand when there's haste, when people say, man, how many times y'all gonna... Why not? That's my question. Why not? I mean, I played multiple games. Madden is, at this point, is at the low end of the totem pole, but I haven't completely gave it up. I still fire it up every now and then. Again, like I said, I play it in my online franchise. We have a good time in there because it's 32 people like-minded. So why not? this is a game that I play. It ain't got to a point yet where I would just completely throw it in the trash. It's just frustrating at times. Just like every other game, the only difference is Madden has a little more quite few more frustrations than some other games. You know what I'm saying? And again, like your boy here, Steven Johnson says, you got to stop playing this track. Dog, everybody is free to do what they want to do. You know what I mean, Smitty? Like, you're free to do what you want to do.
Hey, Sim, how are we going to talk about this game if we don't play it?
Man.
That's it. That's what you got. That's what you guys got to understand. Listen, this is a real point. when you guys come to guys like us and others, we can't talk on this game unless we actually buy it and play it and stuff like that. Like, we have to. We spend this quality time with the game on purpose. Plus, we love football. You know what I'm saying? Think about your favorite team in the NFL. What if your team sucks? Or what if your team does good, but they never seem to get to the Super Bowl? Do you quit watching? No, you still watch anyways, right? It's no different here when we talking about these games. We still play. You know what I'm saying? We still play because we give a care. Like me, I'm done with streaming Madden 19 unless they do another title update and makes the game awesome. I'm done streaming it. You know what I'm saying? I'll play it. I'll make my videos and my feedback, but that's all I'm doing with the game at this point. That's it. So, but what Sim said is 110% right. People do this every single year for the longest time. They get mad, they get upset,
and y'all don't stop buying it.
They rant, they swear on everything that this is the very last Madden they'll ever buy,
and they keep buying.
Yeah. A decade later, they say the same statement.
That's all I'm saying. That's all we saying. Listen, I'm not calling out anybody. If me and Smitty, we can't necessarily join in on that conversation because y'all know we don't pay for the game, man. I mean, I'm keeping it a buck. I might have a different conversation if for the last 6 years I've had to physically buy it. You know what I probably would have did with Madden? Like I did with a lot of other games. Man, let me red box this joint, play it thoroughly and see what's going on. But the truth is, and listen, I ain't blaming nobody. I'm just saying, it's so many people out here that complain till they blue in the face. And I'm not talking about complaining where you giving your opinion. I'm talking about physically telling me, I ain't buying this trash. And they buy it. That's my point. For every one of y'all who say, we gotta stop buying it. But you part of the problem. That's all I'm saying. We got to be real with ourselves. And I respect people like my man Nays in here. And shout outs to Nays because he comes through on the Steelers stuff. But he just said, look, I'm buying the new Madden regardless. I ain't mad at that. Just keep it real. I ain't mad at nobody to say, oh man, it get on my nerves, but you know what? I still play it. I'm gonna buy it. That's cool. Because at the end of the day, we are free to do what we want to do with our money and our time. The video games, honestly, guys, I'll wrap it up with this. It shouldn't be that important to you to where you ready to kick and scream and fight and yell and cuss somebody out. No, let's just suppose Madden never gets better. So what, man? Life goes on. Y'all know? Life goes on. And, you know, and I hate to say this and depress people, but you know, I'm dealing with real life all the time, man. You know, here I am tomorrow. I got to go to Virginia, you know, because my aunt is on life support. You know what I'm saying? They don't even know if, you know, we waiting to see if her brain is going to respond. And that's kind of pretty much going to determine whether or not I'm assuming that they're going to pull the plug or not. That's what matters. Not no video games at the end of the day. Like, I don't understand why people get so worked up. Yeah, you hear me and Smitty go in and out, and we, oh man, yeah, but we just, at the end of the day, you know what really is important to Smitty? Little Smitty that's in his lap right now. That was premature. That's what's more important to Smitty. So we just do this in our leisure time. Like, if they never improve it, so what? Like Smitty said, he got other games to play. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? That's why if it sounds like we get defensive, because at the end of the day, I'm a naturally born person that like try to inspire and try to lead. And it's like at the end of the day, I want y'all to understand too, this stuff really don't matter, man. You can hate or love me, but I'm gonna try to drop some jewels when I can. Who cares? We shouldn't get so worked up about, especially about other people, man. Why y'all still talking? Why are you worrying about it? They either gonna do it or they ain't. And that's why I like what Smitty said. What he gonna do when he see him the next time? Same way I'm gonna do. Man, this game, y'all gotta do something. We gonna tell them, but if they listen, it's either they gonna do it or they ain't. And it's always ultimately up to us whether we gonna play the game or not. So that's it, man. We can end it on that note. Unless anything else you got, Smitty?
No, man, that's it, man. You got it. You got it from there.
Yeah, man. So we out of here. But we'll catch you guys next week. Hope everyone's safe. Have a good weekend. Be blessed. Be well. And we'll catch y'all next week, hopefully with some brand new topics. And again, guys, can y'all give us something to talk about? I promise you, Smitty and I don't want to talk about this all the time. I promise. We don't want to talk about Madden all the time, man. I mean, but again, it's funny, Smitty, they try to put us in this box, but then when we talk about what's in the box, they get mad at us.
Yeah.
What you want us to do? I mean, I don't know. But all right, man, we out of here. We catch y'all next week, man. Be easy. Peace.
Peace.